This is Gums Radio. Gums Radio.
Hi, everybody. Hi, it's that one. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Comedy Radio Show, coming at you live from Governor's Comedy Club, the legendary Governor's Comedy Club, right here in Levittown, New York. Sallie's here. Rich is here. We're laughing already. We're having a good time. Hope everybody's doing well. If you're in this neck of the woods, hope you're staying safe in the snow. It's snowing out there. Actually, it's snowing everywhere, I think, right? Everybody seems to be having trouble lately in this weather.
Yeah, poor Texas, man. They're like...
It's winter, people. It's winter.
Yeah, but in Texas, it's an extremely harsh winter. They don't usually get this type of crap
I was actually reading about...
I do not feel bad. No.
Do you know why they're having so much trouble there?
Because it's winter.
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Okay, so...
Is this because of the Dallas Cowboys?
No.
Oh.
This is really interesting.
It's because Mark White left.
You know the guy FDR?
I've heard.
All right, so he passed an energy bill in like the 30s,
He
right?
passed away.
Passed away after the energy bill. And apparently Texas didn't want to be a part of it. And they caused such a ruckus that Texas got to have his own energy grid.
I'm not going to agree with you until I see Andy Pajanos and Will Sharon's comments, because those are my go-to guys. So,
Got it.
But I'll agree with you a little bit.
We have 3 energy grids in America.
Right.
The East Coast, the West Coast,
and
Texas.
Fair enough.
So when other places, everything shuts down, you could use energy from other places to turn it on. So all their energy failed, and they can't flip the switch back on. And
so all that oil is not really helping them right now, is it?
No.
Exactly.
So they're freezing their butts off. It's like 9 degrees. They're all huddling in their houses, all because of Mark White.
You know what we call that here?
What?
Winter. Hope everybody's doing well today. Good to see you all. I guess I'll run the ads. I don't know what happened to Ken Pichelle today. We'll do the ads real quick.
Maybe he snowed in, Tony. Have we checked in the Carolinas how bad it is?
Oh, look, Andy stuck up for me and said that I am on it.
Well,
Thanks, Andy.
So
She was
so
this
let me
morning.
get this straight. You didn't believe me until one of those yahoos agreed that I was right.
Listen, you could call me and Jeff Bosey yahoos, but not Andy Plajanos and Will Sharon.
Yeah,
because those guys are on my speed dial for if I have to phone a friend on a game show.
Yep,
which, by the
with
way,
him on that.
the game show I would be on would probably not have really difficult questions.
Right, I was going to say.
I would be playing tic-tac-toe against a chicken or something. But.
What color spectrums make pink? Brown.
Yeah.
All right,
Hold on, let me call Andy.
Ken Bichelle is coming soon, so we'll wait for him on the ads. Govsradio.com is the website to see our shows. We're on Facebook and YouTube. Right above Sally's head there, I think it says, please like and share our shows. It does it?
No.
Did you get rid of that?
Yeah, I just
Why?
have, I don't know, I was just putting because we're going to be doing a big Zoom show today, so I just put the phone number to call in for the first hour, and
okay.
then I'm going to...
Excited for
Not-
today's
Yes,
show.
me
Excited.
too.
Sorry for Bella Vista Pizza, but I'm not putting it in front of Rich Rada's face the whole show.
All right,
You could put pizza in front of my face.
well, Ken Bichelle will get to it. So the phone lines are open now. They're going to be open until our big interview with Bill Champlin, formerly of Chicago. He's joining us at 12. So the phone lines are open until then. All right, so it's not above Sally's head, but please like and share the show. Please just copy that link, put it on every page you can find. Get on that phone and tell all your friends about all the great shows here at Govs Radio. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show, No Rhyme, No Reason with Rich and Jeff Bosey. Jeff doesn't want to hear about it. He's driving a Mack truck in this, no problem. I don't want to hear about people crying that it's doing that thing called snow again.
Is he
That
driving
happens
in
every year.
Texas? Because otherwise, who cares? I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Carrie said that Texas needed to be humbled.
I love your colors today, says Carrie. The black, red, and white.
The Bulgarian
I should have
national
wore
flag.
blue. I should have wore blue. We could have been groovy in here.
Oh,
Groovy.
we're still groovy. I think we're groovy.
We're groovy. We're not
Yeah.
groovy.
Define groovy.
We're 3/8 groovy. Let's go. We'll do something like
Is
that.
Fremder on yet?
I have not seen him yet.
I haven't seen a bad pun. Let me check.
Fremder helped us out big time
Yes.
yesterday.
So
Who's the
yeah,
man?
Andrew Fremder, he's going to be in here tomorrow with us. So I'm a little nervous about that. A little scared.
With Andy Plajanos on Zoom.
On Zoom, yes.
Wow.
So it's Andy squared tomorrow.
Wow.
As opposed to Steve squared. But
Wow.
But we were having some issues yesterday with some equipment in here yesterday. Now Fremder has hinted in the past that he has a little bit of experience with this
You
stuff.
should wait till he's on to tell the story. What if he's
Oh,
not
I
on?
was just telling Rich about it.
I know,
Oh,
but-
you're saying to
other people
Yeah.
are listening to mine and
People wanna
Tony's
shoot your
conversation.
load on every
People
single
mind your business.
conversation. Okay, here's my morning. I'm setting everything up.
Well, there's the phone already.
Don't do it.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's DJ D Love.
Nope.
Oh. Good morning, live on the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show. Who'd this be?
It's either me or DJ D Love for the next 20 minutes.
Well, let us get back to you. We might go the option 2.
Well, since you're on the phone, you better start rapping like DJ D Love.
Hey, don't know if we're going to be doing a show tonight, man. Driving up in the snow, man. Seen a lot of accidents all over the place and blood splattered, man. Booyah! What you know about driving in Long Island? Because you're not in Texas, man. I don't know any other words to this song but the word man.
You're just chilling and bucking on the road there,
I can't
man.
believe what I'm most disgusted with is that Bosey just used his only good material in 2021 on this show.
Yeah.
Way to save it for tonight, Bose.
Yeah.
Way to go.
It's exactly what your face said. I was looking
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Rada's face, and he's like,
I'm like-
he goes, why didn't he save this for today?
Yeah, comedy gold. Let's put it on Knockem Dead.
Well, I thank you.
Good job,
all I
Jeff.
know is I love looking at Sunrise Highway. I'm on it right now. And nobody... We have a history of having snow for, I don't know, hundreds of years. And we've had cars since the Roaring 20s. And now still nobody in New York doesn't know how to do that whole thing. Like, what? Slow down? What? Back off? What? Change your driving skills from, ultra stupid to mega stupid? I don't get it.
Wow. Hey, Bose, just for our listeners' benefit, I mean, because I know a lot of people take notes when you speak, usually police officers, but in this regard, would you like to expand on what Sallie said about FDR? Because I know you have some deep knowledge about the whole,
About
energy grids in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about what Franklin Delano Roosevelt? What about him?
Yeah,
Well, they passed the energy bill in the 30s, and Texas wanted to have their own energy grid. So now in America, we have 3 grids: the East Coast, the West Coast, and Texas.
Yes, and all that stands for is look at the morons with their 10-gallon hats. I hope they all freeze to death.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I mean,
such empathy.
seriously, you're going to go ahead and you're going to sit there like, oh no, we got this. We'll never break 50 to go below 50 degrees. And then all of a sudden, what happened? A winter. Who would have ever figured that out?
Wasn't Bozy more fun when he was rapping?
Yeah,
You are a bitter driver.
yeah. Mad Bosie is something.
Sucker!
Mad Bosie. That's a T-shirt. Let's make
Mad
Mad
Bosie.
Bosie
Mad
T-shirts.
Bozy T-shirts.
Listen, it's really depressing with the fact that all that horrible cold weather will be gone by the end of the week. They'll go back to their normal temperatures. It's a week of them bitching and moaning about stuff that we're used to every day, day in, day out. All right?
So no thoughts and prayers, Bose?
Well,
No,
problem solved,
I'm
then.
not going to pull a Cuomo and sit there and go, 109 people died today. There are no thoughts and prayers. I really don't give a crap.
right,
I'll
well-
talk
One
about
thing
it
that
anyway.
I don't get is it's not like they're on an island and we're in America. Can't they just get in their car and drive 5 hours and stay at a Courtyard by Marriott and have heat? Like, I don't know.
What, you think
why
the
are they
Courtyard by
trapped?
Marriott in the same state would have heat?
What? What's wrong?
You don't hear
All I
Kim
know
say?
is this cancels my my vacation plans to Mexico. Who knows? I'm not having frozen tortillas.
Well, all right. Well, Carol Miner is watching, and she's in Texas, and I heard they even have a water shortage down there now. Carol, let us know how you're doing down there. Let us know what's going on.
All right, listen. I'll get off the phone for now because I know that only leaves then 3 minutes for a good rap and him to talk about he's going to be with Mark Wahlberg in 2023.
So, well, what are you doing? He's with Mark Wahlberg. Who are you going to be with?
Oh, I'm always going to be with my honey bunny that's sitting to your left.
Oh, that was
Aw.
beautiful.
God, that's creepy, but yeah, I appreciate it.
All right.
You be safe on those roads.
Talk to you later. Bozy out.
10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, Bose. Eyes forward.
So, Lawrence is telling us to wear masks.
Where?
Yeah, everybody's safe here. And we're wiping and cleaning and all that stuff. Is anyone in the truck with him? They need to pull over. Yeah, I hope nobody's in that truck with him.
There is no. If anyone's in the truck with Bosie, you guaranteed they are duct taped and gagged.
And
There's no way they're
walking funny by the time they get out of that
and
truck.
most likely on a milk carton.
Telling Edison sounded like Paul Lind on the phone. That's awesome.
Mad Bosie pollen.
Good morning, Dr. Ken.
Good morning.
How are you
Tony,
today?
Sally, and
Oh, okay.
I hope this
I
is
don't-
the
I
last
didn't
time
move
I ever call you Bosie's honey bunny. There.
so do I.
Hey, now what's the story down there? How's the weather by you guys?
It looks like it's gonna be a little bit freezing rain, icy. I mean, we're looking at half an inch. No, I'm sorry. We're looking at a trace of ice up towards the Virginia state line. They're looking at maybe a half an inch of ice.
Oh, okay,
Doesn't
not
look like
too
it's
bad.
doing much outside right now.
Yeah, you work mostly from home, so you probably don't even really worry about it, do you?
Not a whole heck of a lot. No, we don't get out
Well,
much.
either did Texas.
I'll bet you. I disagree. I bet you Ken's in his storm shelter with 40 cans of Spam and a case of water, just trying to ride this out.
Oh, he's not
I won't,
denying it.
I won't starve.
There you
I
go.
always have a well-stocked
Did you
pantry.
want Ken to just do the ads right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
isn't that why he's here?
That's the only reason I'm here. It's Thursday.
Well, then get on with it.
Y'all get out of Sally's. Get out of my way so I can, do the ads under Sally's directive there. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by Roslyn Social, a social experience in dining. Roslyn Social is the area's premier location for elevated pub food, craft cocktails, and local beers. Roslyn Social is open for socially distanced dining, takeout, curbside pickup, delivery, and on your favorite food service apps. Even their famous cocktails and desserts are available to go as well. You can follow them on Facebook at Roslyn Social. They are located in the heart of Roslyn Village at 1363 Old Northern Boulevard. That's 1363 Old Northern Boulevard in Roslyn. Give Roslyn Social a call and say hi to Nick at 516-801-4963. That's 516-801-4963. Thank you from Roslyn Social. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. Two Eagles Auto Body is a family-owned and operated collision shop located in New Hyde Park, Long Island. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Two Eagles Auto Body handles foreign and domestic automobiles and motorcycles using such techniques as state-of-the-art paint spray booths and computer color matching. In the event of an accident, Two Eagles Auto Body has their own tow trucks and will walk you through the process from start to finish. From tow through the insurance process to the return of your vehicle, Two Eagles Auto Body is with you. Two Eagles Auto Body is constantly striving for perfection, with your satisfaction being their number one priority. Two Eagles Auto Body is located in New Hyde Park, Long Island at 1818 Falmouth Avenue. That's 1818 Falmouth Avenue in New Hyde Park. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527. Also follow them on Facebook at Two Eagles Auto Body. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Gina Conjemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. That's Gina Conjemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. 631-495-7696. That's 631-495-7696. When you work with Gina, you tap into the collective experience of the best, most experienced realtors on Long Island. Contact Gina today to discuss how Signature Premier Properties and Gina can help you market and sell your property successfully or find your perfect home. More information about Gina's listings can be found at signaturepremier.com. That's signaturepremier.com. List your house with Gina, and she will work so hard for you and sell your house so fast that it will make your Can anybody out there in radio land hear Tony, Sallie, and Rich yell head spin? Because
Head spin.
it will make your head spin. Man, I'm in the Zoom. I got cut off. Anywho, the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Bella Vista Pizza. Bella Vista Pizza, for the best pizza in the whole wide world. Check out Bella Vista Pizza, where they offer thin crust, thin whole wheat, deep dish, and gluten-free pies. Also, pasta and baked dishes, calzones and rolls, heroes, entrees, salads, sides, and appetizers. You can follow them on Facebook at Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta. That's Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta on Facebook, and on Instagram at Bella Vista Pizza LI. That's at Bella Vista Pizza LI on Instagram. Bella Vista Pizza is located at 154 Minetto Hill Road in Plainview. That's 154 Minetto Hill Road in Plainview. 516-433-4464. That's 516-433-4464. Mention Knockem Dead Comedy to receive a free garlic knot. BellaVistaPizza.com. Bambinos, check them out today. And of course, the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by Knockem Dead Comedy, the premier murder mystery dinner theater company that provides interactive murder mystery dinner theater, game shows, variety shows, and more. You plan the party, they'll plan the murder. Knockem Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery dinner theater company from Pennsylvania to Maine and everywhere in between. You may select between the Hillbilly Hoedown, a redneck wedding, the family, the fun, and the felony, the high school reunion, and the whacked family reunion, a lethal luau. Knockem Dead Comedy will provide a fun-filled evening full of audience interaction, including music and dancing, games and prizes, and tons of laughter. Knockem Dead Comedy shows can be seen at restaurants, catering halls, even your home. Their shows are perfect for corporate events, team building events, wedding rehearsal dinners, holiday parties, fundraisers, sweet 16s, and bar mitzvahs. You can follow them on Facebook at Knockem Dead Comedy and on Instagram at Knockem Dead Comedy. That's at Knockem Dead Comedy on Instagram. For upcoming show dates, check out knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates. That's knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates. Tony, Sallie, Rich, I am all done.
Yay.
Woo!
Thanks so much.
And in the time Ken took to read those ads, Bella Vista Pizza made 137 entrees, delivered them, and the people have digested those.
Yum.
Nice. I'd have to say, when I see you in the studio here, Rich, I think of the time last year when I was driving and y'all were like, come on, you can do the ads off memory. And I basically managed to make it, but this amount of ads, that would be tough. Haven't done the new ones enough.
And phone numbers and stuff. Yeah, it's tough to remember
I think
that.
you remembered that while
Yeah.
I was driving last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
When I think there were just 2.
Anyway, thank
The
you.
famous Ken Purcell,
Thanks.
folks. Woo!
super job, pal.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. All right. We'll see you tomorrow for the Edge 2 with Andy, correct?
Far as I know right now, I think I'm good. Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
y'all. See ya.
See ya.
Thanks, Ken.
All right.
Bye, Ken.
Bye, everybody.
I'm turning up auxiliary 1, and I'm turning on. Whoops. Did I just screw up? I just screwed up.
How rare.
What you doing?
I'm putting on some music to celebrate.
Oh, you're not.
I am.
What do we got?
It's Yoko Ono's birthday. Come on, put those things back on.
Woo! Yeah, no, you can hear it. You know how I know you're playing Yoko Ono? I hear cats scratching at the back door.
One of my favorite pieces of music, one of my favorite things to play here on the show. I
Wow.
can't take it anymore.
Wow.
She is 88 years old today.
No shit. Wait,
Yeah.
88?
88. Yeah.
How old would John Lennon be if he was alive?
Well, she was and still is older than John.
Yeah,
He-
she is older, right?
Yeah, he would only be 80 right now if he was alive.
Wow.
Yeah, she had some years
Oh,
on
8
him.
years older? Wow,
Yeah.
that's a really big difference.
Well, 7. Yeah, 8. I mean, his birthday didn't come yet this year.
It
But
goes to show you though, if you're a hot older Asian woman with that kind of musical skills, you're gonna hook up with
You're
a
going
rock
to get
and
a
roll
John
legend.
Lennon.
Exactly.
Because
right.
let's face it, she would be on the Mount Rushmore of music icons
Of Japanese people who married a Beatle.
right? Rock
Rushmore.
legends, right?
She'd be number one.
Yeah, she'd be
Yeah,
be one or two. I
Definitely
guess,
number
right?
one.
Did you ever see her naked? Because her and John, they did. They
You ever see a grown man naked?
no, they
Like
posed
when
naked.
Scraps grabs a hold of your leg. And
No, they made an album together where the cover was them naked.
no, and there are things in life that I say, I'm not really upset I didn't do
You're-
that.
you're
or see
okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with not seeing Yoko Ono naked.
Wow.
Now, all right, so she's 88, but you know what makes me feel old today? It's also John Travolta's birthday.
Don't tell me what is he?
Take a guess.
John Travolta, I'm going to go with 68.
68.
No,
what do you say,
really?
Sally?
62.
Well, you got to figure, what is it, maybe just another, 5 or 6 years, and Welcome Back, Kotter will be 50 years. So, yeah, Richard was close. He's turning 67 today.
67. Wow.
So now I feel old.
Wow. And I got a birthday next week.
Do you
Oh,
really?
next
You don't
week?
see me releasing bad Asian rock songs.
Yeah, well, the week's...
Although
Did you
I'm
bang
not going
John
to lie,
Lennon?
I posed naked with John Lennon.
Now I know where I know Rich from.
Yeah. Let's just say maybe he committed suicide. And
But yeah, sticking with the music, well, if you want to call that music with Yoko Ono, but we do have Bill Champlin, formerly of Chicago.
don't ever use Yoko Ono and Bill Champlin in the same
Speaking of
sentence
music.
again.
Well, maybe we should ask him what he thinks. Maybe he's worked with everybody.
Okay,
maybe he's worked with Yoko.
We have arguably one of the best vocalists of my lifetime.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I'm not playing it again, so get
and
out
Bill
of your head.
Champlin.
So I have to tell you, I was all excited. I'm a big Chicago fan. That band.
Yeah.
Bill Champlin was in that band for 27 years. Great vocalist. He's worked with everybody. I think it's safe to say a lot of you don't know who he is. A lot of you can tell us his songs.
He's awesome.
But I deliberately picked Thursday because I knew Rich would be here, and I knew Rich would know who that is, and he does. And we were talking a little bit about him before we went on the air.
A little bit. Okay, so we come in today. I'm setting everything up, and I know it. They both reek of it. They're so excited to talk about Chicago and everything. And I'm like, please please don't say anything. Don't blow your load before the show starts.
We make no promises
No
about
one would
that.
listen.
None.
20 minutes of every interesting thing you could ever imagine said. And I'm telling you right now, neither one of them are going to be interesting right now because it's done.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's not wrong, but she's mean, is all I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm never interesting, so I don't know what you're talking before or after,
It
during.
was
It doesn't
you
matter.
better remember half the stuff that you said because it was
Yeah.
all really interesting.
Wait till I call him Bob. So, Bob, how'd you like working with Chicago?
You were great in Boston.
That's right.
Can you sing More Than a Feeling for us?
Did you and Brad get along?
So what were you saying? You were saying he's not even in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What was that
The
all
band
about?
Chicago finally made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2016 when the band was just about 50
Which
years
is
old.
ludicrous that it took 50 years.
Yes.
Right.
But Bill was not in the band until 82. But
Which is, by the way, when they became, I would argue, commercially, gigantically successful.
yes, they
Right.
I mean, they had a lot of great hits.
No,
you know,
they
in
were-
the
they
He was
70s.
in. You're saying he was in before Cetera.
No, he was not
No,
in before.
no,
Cetera's
Cetera
the
was a
original
founder,
member.
right?
Right.
He was a big-
not a founder, but
No,
an
he was
original
right.
member.
He was early. But
Okay.
Cetera left like 85.
So he was
only
in
started
longer.
81.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were together in the band for a few years, but then Cetera went on. Plus, Cetera, he's the name that people know because he had some solo success after he left the band. People don't know Champlin's name, but they know his songs.
Yes.
Look Away.
Well,
was
I
probably
always
his
say if
biggest
you
song.
got any action in the 80s,
yes,
he was singing in the background.
Okay.
I mean, you put it this way: everyone loved Chicago back in the day, and the early stuff is, critically acclaimed. But my era, my generation, Chicago 17, 18, 19 is really when, and that was the beginning and the highlight of Bill being in that.
and
band.
well, that's right. That's the thing. Yeah, he.
17 is their most successful album,
Right.
sold, right?
Right.
And 18, I think, was the last one with 17 or 18 was the last one with Pete Cetera.
I think it
And
was
then
17.
19 was without him, and they were just there. The guy, let me tell you, that guy has. And by
And
the way,
his voice
his
was
solo, his new album. He's in his. How old is he? 73.
Yeah, I believe something.
His
like
new
that.
album, which came out in January,
Living
his
for Love.
vocals are ridiculous, and he's great. The guy is
and
great.
he's played with. He wrote "After Love Is Gone" by Earth, Wind and Fire. If you know anything about Earth, Wind and Fire, you know that song.
What was that George Benson song?
Turn Your Love Around.
Turn Your Love Around,
He wrote
right.
that.
Yep.
He's worked with Elton John. He's worked with Eric Clapton. He's worked with everybody. And his wife is a singer in her own right. So
And he's done back vocals, like I said.
For
I
everybody.
think he's known for doing back vocals or supporting vocals on, like, I don't know, a gajillion songs or something like that.
yeah, it's true.
Give or take 3.
And what he plays, it's guitar, keyboard. What else? Like
Well, guitar and
everything?
keyboards are his main thing, but
And vocals.
I think he's mainly known for his vocals, as well as his
Yep.
songwriting. But yeah, not a part of Chicago in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'm calling bullshit.
He was in the band. Cetera was there first, but
Okay.
Cetera was only there. He wasn't even in the band for 20 years. Where Champlin did
28,
27,
28
years in
years,
that
yeah.
band, and to not be in the Hall of Fame with them is to not even get the recognition is just baffling to me.
Well, specifically
And he-
since they don't get in until 30 odd years after he joins the band.
Right.
I feel like he was part of it.
and 7 or 8 years after he left the band. So
Can we also agree that I would love to. We could do an 8-hour show on this. I would be curious to hear what people's opinion of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. And again, I don't mind that they nominate non-rock acts. I mean, I think change the name if you're going to do that. But
Yeah.
but the criteria, or like anyone who listens to rock and roll, if it is truly the Rock Hall of Fame, like someone's going to have to explain to me how, like, Boston Foreigner and bands like that
Yep.
are
Aren't
not
there.
in the Rock and Roll Hall
No,
of Fame.
they're
yeah, we-
not.
we
I
can
thought
name-
you were going to say they are. They're
No,
not.
we can go on for hours.
No,
on
I
that.
know, and I know
Bad
foreigners
Company.
had personal brawls with the board.
They all
of
have.
Well, what's the criteria? What's the
25
problem?
years after the release of your first album,
First
right?
album.
Okay.
You can become eligible,
Right.
and then it's
And then
who
they just
knows?
look back on your past and see whether you were a one-time, album or
No, there are people in the Rock Hall of Fame that don't have nearly the body of work on
Like Chicago.
like.
who decides
Right.
it? Is it like a panel of people?
Yeah,
or do they change all
they
the
do
time?
some voting, but it's mostly
It's
a board.
whatever it is. It's bullshit. Like this year there's what, 16 nominees? Okay, and again, I say, and growing up in Lindenhurst, maybe I'm a little slanted, but how Pat Benatar's not in the Rock Hall of Fame is complete horseshit, right? And there's 16 nominees, and technically, if you look at the list, it's either 14 or 16.
Yeah.
5 of them would be considered rock acts.
Yeah,
5.
Okay.
So it's look, Jay-Z is arguably the greatest rapper of all time, right? But it's a Rock Hall of Fame. Jay-Z clearly he should be a slam dunk, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I mean, he's a no-brainer to go in there, right? So
yeah, and then you look at other names like
Foo Fighters are locked to me,
right? Lock. Tina Turner's a lock,
right?
How she's not in there previously is beyond me,
right? Ike, it's Ike.
Well, that's true. She is in there with Ike,
right?
But she deserves
she's
to
not
be
in
by
there
herself.
as a solo act,
right?
But even still, her solo act is 40, 50 years old at this point. Joan Corbier says hello. Marla Schultz is watching. Hello, Marla. Enjoyed your show yesterday. Jeff Bosey says, "Who are you kidding, Rich? You still play Chicago."
Yeah. Hey, listen, they're a phenomenal all-time band. I mean, you can't go food shopping without hearing a Chicago song.
We were watching the documentary, and one of my kids was like, my kid works in a restaurant as a busboy, and he goes, "You're playing all the music that they play in my restaurant."
It's like I'm either in Target or trapped in an elevator, or about to get a root canal.
They did pretty crazy stuff in the beginning. I mean, who had trombone and trumpet players and sax?
They
saxophone
were one of the first
was a
rock
little bit.
bands to have a horn section.
How many in the heyday? What do you think was the most members? Like when they did when they toured, I'd love to know how many people they had on the stage at the same time.
Actually, I think right now is pretty, because they have I couldn't even tell you these guys' name. They're unrecognizable, but now they have a percussion player. They have a lead singer who just stands in the front and sings. He's not, because it used to be the guys playing instruments would take turns singing. Now it's just a guy in the front standing there singing. So I mean, it's got to be probably 10 guys up there.
That's the one thing about old-time great rock acts, right? When you go, if you think about it, the shame of it is what makes them usually great is you recognize the vocalist,
right?
But the guy who breaks down the first, listen, I was telling Meatloaf, to me, what a great voice, right? Have you heard Meatloaf sing in the last 5 years?
No.
He makes Yoko Ono sound like Celine Dion.
I mean,
it's like,
that guy had a stroke or something,
but he had
not
one of the
public
greatest voices. But my all these bands, like when they change, like Foreigner replaced Lou Gramm, right?
Right.
Journey stepped in it with, that little guy that grabbed it. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's great.
Arnell, whatever his name is.
Arnell Pineda.
Right, he's great.
But he sounds like Steve Perry. I mean, it's almost an imitation.
Right. But some of these bands, all the other guys, like you could prop the bass player up in a wheelchair.
Right.
He can go on tour, but you can't put a vocalist in there, right? So it's a shame, because that's the part you recognize when they break down the quickest.
And that's the thing.
But
sometimes
Bill
your
Champlin,
voice just changes.
But this guy Bill,
maybe not for the worse.
I'm telling you, folks, if you like Chicago, I will reimburse you your iTunes money. You go get Living for Love, it is, right? And listen to his vocals. He's 73. This guy's
beautiful.
like the Tony Bennett of rock and roll voices.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that is great.
He's got such a great voice.
And I have to say, I do like a lot of his, when he's solo, or now since he's not with Chicago, he does a lot more bluesy, rockish type stuff. Chicago, I guess these guys had bills to pay. They became in the 80s, like you said. You got laid to a Chicago tour.
Listen,
that's all they did with ballads.
But they're not getting in a rock crew. I will argue that with anybody. They, as much as all their early stuff was critically acclaimed, commercial success wise, if you just kept Chicago's whole body of work and eliminated 17, 18, and 19 from their catalog, I'm not saying them. I don't think they're getting the recognition.
Right.
They're just not. I mean, and Bill Champlin is, I would argue, predominantly responsible, and David Foster, who they brought in. So
right.
But, yeah, but definitely check out the album.
Is David Foster still alive? I don't even know.
Yeah,
he
he's
is?
still alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's done some music.
Yeah, a little bit.
A couple of songs, a couple of little ditties.
A little bit. But I got to tell you, though, listening to Bosey sing while he's driving, I feel if anyone out there maybe we could ask Bill if he could put David Foster in touch with Jeff Bosey, because I feel there's an album there.
I don't know what. An album of what? I'm not really sure, but
David would know. David would know. But I mean, again, if maybe Yoko Ono would go in the studio, that would be an album.
that I'd like to hear. Bosie, and they'd have to pose naked for their album cover.
I don't know if I think that'd be the first time you'd hear me say these words. I'd rather see Yoko Ono naked.
That's a
than
lot.
Jeff Bosie. Yes, I absolutely would.
All right, so Sally Annie's saying that Chicago has more horns than Glenn Miller. Plajanos, I sort of want to hear how Fishbone is a total ripoff of Chicago, and I sort of want it to be true.
Who?
Fishbone.
Carrie, I don't have a band. I mean, but thank you.
Carol Miner says, Terry Kath was the best. Our wedding song is Color My World, right?
Yeah,
Terry Kath, the original guitarist, so he was the driving force point in Chicago. Carol, you texted me some pictures. I'm having trouble getting these pictures up, so my apologies. I'm assuming it has something to do with the weather down there.
She probably has like snow hanging off her lamp on the inside of her house or something. Go to the Courtyard by Marriott. Just get in your cars and drive to a hotel.
Joan, look at Joan. Listen to that. Rich conversing with the two adults. Oh my God! Wow, is that a shot at Bosie?
Who said that?
Joan Krupiescher said that.
Wow.
And what adult? I don't see any adults in this room.
I think Joan's just insinuating that I should still be at the kids' table, which is fair. It's fair.
Well, we still have that like little table down there. We're trying to make that larger.
Hold on. I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely the table you sit at with your third cousin. Could I have some more turkey? Get out.
Bosie says, I hate you. All right, so we are a half hour away from Bill Champlin calling in and joining us. So the phone lines are going to be turned off once Bill comes on. So the phone lines are open now, and we're just hanging out.
Don't do it.
Yeah. He'll call eventually. All right, so one thing I wanted to mention today, something I read this morning, which I was kind of shocked to read. England, which I believe is still in quarantine, unless you guys have heard different. I believe they're still in quarantine.
And you told me a little bit about this,
Yeah.
but just where did you get your source from? Because I can't be true.
No, this is true.
Right,
it was a health website.
We're going to ask Plajanos and Will Sharon if it's true.
Yeah, can we just have those guys on like a little Zoom box in case we need them? A little panic button.
England is going to start a controlled human infection study by deliberately infecting people from ages 18 to 30 with COVID to learn more about how the virus affects people and the effectiveness of experimental vaccines.
I just feel bad because, like if they're doing something like that, they're just like using poor people because, like, they have to be bought off. There's no way anyone would do that.
No, this is purely a voluntary
but this is like
thing.
The people who go in and go, $17 for electric shock treatment.
Yeah,
I'll go twice.
It is true.
Like
I had like not a lot, but I had a handful of friends like in college that they were like, I just have to take this one drug for a little bit, and they pay me like
oh, is that what they said? I have to take.
They
this
pay
drug?
me. They would go like donate a pint of blood.
This is purely a voluntary thing.
But I mean, they're picking an age, bracket of 18 to 30, which I guess not high risk, which is good, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, the question I have is it's in England, you said?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe they'll find a cure to straighten their fucking teeth out. Here's an idea. You're 18 to 30 and your teeth look like a fence in a hurricane. Okay.
I love English teeth.
Do you? Why? Because they make you feel good about your teeth?
I used to make fun of it, and then like everyone in the world got braces, and now all I see is like perfect teeth, and it's just refreshing to see like a mouthful of weirdness.
A mouthful of banged up chiclets.
Like,
it's just not the way to go.
Like, did you walk into a fence or something?
And I thought talking about Yoko Ono naked was a weird conversation. Now you guys are talking about people in England and their teeth.
If you gave Yoko Ono English teeth, she could actually be worse.
Do they not do braces there? Is that the thing? It's just not common?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Either that or maybe fish and chips does something to your gums, and I don't know.
I think every
someone get
teeth.
Will and Andy on the phone.
Yeah. Perfect teeth though are boring. I like a little funky.
I'm not saying perfect, but I think they should all be in the same zip code. Your teeth should be in the same.
Did you hear what she said?
What?
I like a little funkiness in someone's mouth. That's what she said.
I like a little funky.
Wow, Bosie is rubbing off on you.
Yeah, or he's rubbing off to her right now.
Well, he is on a snowy highway.
Carol has seen Chicago 4 times without Bill, and she likes the new guy. Shut up, Carol. We're all about Bill in this place.
Carol, she going timeout. Timeout.
Let's see.
No, I'm sure the new guy. Listen, they're going to have a great vocalist. I mean,
Yeah, they have to.
You're not
Yes.
putting a rock and roll legendary band on the road with a shitty vocalist.
Terry Katz should have named the song "Bang Bang, Color Me Unlucky." Carrie says, "Lay on the couch" in capital letters. I don't know who she's talking to. I think she's talking to all three of us. Either way, that's cool with me. Who is Terry Katz? I'm going to regret that, she says. Terry Katz, the original driving force behind Chicago. He sang and wrote a lot of their songs in the beginning.
Posey used the royal family as test subjects or the homeless.
Well, they should use prisoners.
Well, like they're not suffering enough. You're going to give them some kind of vaccine.
All right, well, prisoners that are in for life. They're never coming out. So what's the difference?
That's just inhumane.
Yeah, like
Well,
why are you picking on prisoners?
I don't know.
Sheesh.
Man.
The biggest
Jeez.
issue with travel in Texas is the ice. I have a good friend from here that moved to Georgia, and he tells about a sheet of ice shutting down travel due to lack of infrastructure, plows, salts, trucks, etc.
So what I'm
Hello,
hearing
Derek.
there is that your pickup truck with your Confederate flag and your gun rack isn't helping you drive on the ice now, is it?
Well,
Is it now?
Wasn't it Texas that the 130 car pileup was? Wasn't that Texas last week?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're right.
They were like, did you see that YouTube? They were like these tractor trailers just piling into each other. It was crazy.
Now, Carol Miner's forget the weather down there. She's freaking out that Carrie didn't know who Terry Kath is. So she's telling Carrie to look him up.
Any relation to Mama Cat?
Suffering Thuckatage.
Yeah. Holy suffering Thuckatage.
Hello, Daryl, who's watching. Banged up chick. What? All right. It's like a phase 1 drug study, but in
Chiclets.
those people don't. But even in those, people don't get a disease. Right. That's why I think this is kind of a weird thing, Ken.
I don't know if you guys heard this story, but I was going to talk about this a little bit later on tonight, but who knows? You know, nobody watches our show. So
We watch your show.
I watch it.
But did you see this thing about Citibank?
No.
Citibank, evidently, somebody in the department that sends out wire transfers
Yeah.
was supposed to be, I think they did they handled the financials for, I think it was Revlon.
Okay.
And they're supposed to, Revlon, has a lot of debt on the books like people
They have a lot, yeah.
And they're supposed to be sending out interest payments to the lenders. And they were supposed to send out $8 million interest payment. And they sent out $800 million
no.
accidentally.
Oh,
so
goodness.
some of it was returned, but like 500 million of it was not. And so they went to court, and the judge said, nah, because they sent it to
Wow.
people they actually owed money to, and they said if you legitimately owed the money to them, you sent it to them, they're taking the money, they do not have to give it back to you. So
Oh, that's
$500
crazy.
million
Wow.
too much going out.
You think somebody lost their job?
I don't know. That's
Now our lipstick is going to cost like $48.
$48. One use. Single use lipstick. But yeah, could you imagine that guy like going in for his review for his job?
Yeah, no. He
So
doesn't.
let's see, what'd you do? Okay, how long you been with us now?
So you're here every day, right? Yeah.
Great. Oh, yeah. Looks like you punch in on time.
Not
and
a
you-
lot of sick time.
That's
Very
right,
good.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, 800 million. Yeah. Gonna need you to clean your shit out.
Yeah. But I felt really bad.
Yeah. You don't understand. I lost some sleep.
Yeah. If I had to do it again, I would have not done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
In my defense, the mouse was stuck.
Where's that IT guy?
Click. Click, click. Meanwhile, I was saying, yesterday I was telling somebody I got pissed off. One time I paid, you do the auto bill pay, and I hit send, and it was like literally, it was like the one bill. If anyone ever says to you, you should pay my bills, always say I'll take the water bill, right? Because the water bill's like $8 a millennium, right? And you get like a planet's worth of water.
Yeah,
so
right.
I remember my water bill was like $17. And
Right.
I'm like, this must be for like a decade, right? So I went to pay it, and I go, oh, it didn't go through, so I hit it again. Then I saw it posted twice, and I go, I was livid. $17 I had to pay twice. 500 million?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Same thing.
Pretty
yeah.
much. I mean, equal finance. $17 to
Exactly.
me was a lot of money at that time.
Well, speaking of douches,
Is this where you promo No Rhyme, No Reason again? Thanks a lot, Tony.
Speaking of douches.
Speaking of douches, 7 o'clock. Josie Greta.
Did you hear about this guy in Bayshore? Last week, this man, I'm going to give out his name because he's a douche. Donald Cristiano, 46, in a town called Bayshore. We're in a town called Levittown, if you're not from around here. Bayshore is probably maybe 20 minutes east of us. Is that
Yep.
DJ? All right, we'll do that.
We had a good run.
Hello there, DJ D Love.
Hello, it's about time you answer my phone, Tony.
What do you mean?
Dude, I've been calling you a couple times, but you didn't answer my phone calls, man.
When, today?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. This is This is the first time it rang, right, Sallie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
That's
but we
okay.
got you now.
Just up the apology.
We got you now. How you doing? All right.
I'm doing good, man. I love the weather. I love it.
Nice.
I got a little comment about Mr. Jeffrey Bosey. He is a character.
Did you hear what he did before?
I heard what you said about me. That was that nice.
Oh,
he is a real character. That's all I gotta say.
Character.
It was a tribute. He did a little rap, in the DJ D Love style.
Nobody can be like me. Nobody can be like me.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. I agree.
Nobody can be like me.
Nobody can be like you. So when you're big and famous performing concerts, Jeff can be one of your backup dancers.
No, Jeff. No, hell no. I said hell no.
Would you put Jeff on the stage, a backup singer, maybe something?
No, actually, Jeff Posey would be my bodyguard. Actually,
Your bodyguard. Well, you're in a lot of trouble then if he's your bodyguard. He'll be, when you're big and famous, he'll be the DJ D Love tribute act performing locally on Long Island.
He will go out as BJ. BJ B Love.
DJ D Love. Yeah. All right, so DJ D Love, are you ready? What do you got to rap about? The snow maybe today?
no, actually, I got something else about you before you guys actually.
All right, let's hear it.
Here you go. Yo, my name's DJ D Love, man. I'm on the mic today. I'm with Gov's Radio. Man, I went shopping last night before the storm hits. Man, I was one shopping. I got my cereal. I got Cocoa Puffs. Man, went out with my cousin on the 18-wheeler, man. You know what 18-wheeler is? The Mustang, the Black Knight. We don't know about that, do you guys? Oh, yeah. We're on the Black Knight, man, with 18 horses, man. Oh, yeah, you guys don't know about that, you suckers.
Suckers!
Well done, DJ D Love. That was so you got your
Is there more Z's in suckers or streets?
streets. Well done, pal. So you enjoy yourself in the snow today, and
So did you text my cousin yet? Yes or no?
Thanks a lot, Tony.
it's happening. It'll today. I will text your cousin.
All right, good. There's one more thing I got to say.
Yep.
Thanks to Gov's Radio for you guys for being a phenomenal show. You guys are wonderful. I love you guys.
Shrimp Creole.
Everybody knows radio. Everybody, I love you guys. You guys are great.
Right back at you, pal. Thank you so much.
Take care, buddy.
We'll see you.
Wait a minute. One more thing before I
Go ahead.
I like to say that the new guy over there. I don't forget his name, but hello, my friend. What's going on?
Just like at my family dinners.
Thanks, DJ.
All right, DJ.
Wait a minute. One more thing before I go. You suckers.
There you go.
Remember the old a lot of people won't remember because they're probably too young, but you remember Bugs Bunny back in the day? You remember he used to do that thing, I dare you to cross this line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
then he crossed it and it was this line. He's like, I dare you. One more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing.
Let me tell you one more thing.
But we
Let me
always
tell you one more thing.
But we always know that he's going to throw those things in before he goes.
Now, can I ask you guys an honest question from a musical standpoint?
Oh boy.
Before Bill comes on, because I feel we got a legend coming on, but before that, I'm curious to what the listeners think. Would you buy the DJ D Love album or the Jeff Bosey album based on the sample of what you heard this morning?
And they
on the air?
can't do a duet. Like
No,
you can't,
no.
why can't we have
They
both?
They could because I could see them being, I could see them touring together.
I would love to see a super
Yeah.
group featuring Bill Champlin, Jeff Bosey, and DJ D Love, and it's no doubtly a super group.
Would Yoko Ono at least get in the studio with them for one song?
She could be the bodyguard.
You're just making me erect. Just putting all that together. I don't.
We'll have Bosey and DJ be the act, and we'll have We'll have Yoko
Well,
Ono as a
You
bodyguard.
got Cream, you got Asia, you got whatever we'd call this mess. I don't know speaking of, let's call it what it is, 130 car pileup. That's what we could call it.
Danielle Asher saying hi to the new guy.
What's that?
Danielle Asher saying hi to the new guy.
Hey, Danielle Asher, thanks. Are you long-time listener, first-time commenter?
Now, I've said this before, and I'm saying it again. When DJ comes in August to do his birthday show, we're bringing everybody in. You're coming in. You and Jeff are going to be here. Danielle should be here.
We got that thing at that place with those guys.
Yes.
We might not
And
be
I
able
have
to
to
I
drive
know.
you.
Yeah,
Some
and
people-
Sally's driving.
Some people have to rearrange their sock drawer. I understand.
Yeah.
We're-
Fucking baking soda.
We're getting everybody in here.
Do it.
Do that show with DJ D-Love. And we're going to make Bosie and DJ D-Love do a little rap battle. And
Rap. You know what?
It'll be epic.
Listen, I love my man Jeff. I
So
feel
cute
he
for
would.
1995.
I feel he has a better shot at this than he did on Pazuzu.
Poor Bose.
No, he was
There's
still
not a
lose.
day that goes by but I just don't want to
I will tell you right now,
Bosie.
if he loses that rap battle, that's it. He's dead to me. So I don't care if you got to send him
just
to
becomes-
50 Cent school, wherever you got to send him between now and then. He's got to go.
He just becomes more endearing to me every time.
He's the man. Listen, he is the most I say this. He is the most well-liked guy in Long Island comedy.
Agreed.
Maybe I think maybe on close to a Les Deegan. Okay, because that guy might be the nicest guy in
Yeah.
the world.
And then, well, Joe,
Jeff is more interwoven into the whole
Yes.
unity of he's there for every single piece of comedy.
Yeah, he's very
Les-
supportive of everyone.
Les and Joey Cola, I
Yeah.
think, are the nicest ones. Jeff, he's right up there with them, but Jeff is the most supportive.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he shows up at everybody's shows.
Yeah.
Now, have Les and Joey Cola done an album together? Because I'm just saying, if we're doing supergroups,
Yeah, there you go.
you know. And I've seen Andy Plajanos play, so
Yes.
I feel like we're disrespecting him by not putting him, at least as a studio musician, on the Bosie DJ Love
Well,
project.
and let's not forget, Danielle even said it. She wants to come in for DJ
Well,
Danielle. Oh, you're in, Danielle.
Danielle,
You
I
are
mean,
in.
let's be honest. Danielle can sing, but is she as good as DJ or Jeff Bosie?
Well, who is?
Right. I mean,
But she
we
would
can let her do
enhance.
back vocals a little bit, maybe.
Right, like, remember when Eminem and who was it? What was that girl? Remember he did that song with the
Rihanna.
girl?
Rihanna?
No, that was Kanye.
No. Didn't he do that song
Eminem?
with the
He did a
bed
song with
burning or some shit? Or
I thought
don't
it was
know.
Rihanna, no?
Yeah, I don't know. She's hot though.
Yeah.
she's hot. I don't know. I thought there was. I think I'm thinking of a different song, but either way, so fine. Any rapper song that has a female voice, we'll get DJ and Jeff and Danielle to put it together.
She could do the. She could be like the Alicia Keys to the Jay-Z on the New York song.
So if you take their initials, so we take Bosie, B for Bosie, A for Asher, and then D for D Love. There's the name of the super group right there. It's just bad.
Yeah. I like Bad Company, but this would take it to a whole other level. And by the way,
Sorry, I had to do it. Sorry.
by the way, Danielle Asher has an amazing
Oh,
voice.
she's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, that is.
Fantastic.
And I
That
would
was
be
just
willing to
for a
say that
joke.
Jeff and DJ D Love would actually allow her to try out to be in the band. I mean, she'd have an audition like anybody else.
Because rapping's difficult.
But
you
it's-
know? I don't know if she's got that skill set.
But
That's
it's
why they
more-
made gift bags, Sally.
But it's more than that, though. See, you also have to figure out like how to package this, how to promote the product. Okay, and sex sells. So
You're gonna do. I know where you're going. You're gonna do the Yoko John Lennon cover with Bosie and DJ.
well,
D-Love.
well, of course. But I'm thinking, whose boobs would you use to promote this group? Jeff's or Danielle's?
I would at that moment.
I thought you were offering up your own.
Oh, I
boobs.
thought you were going to say Jeff's or DJ D Love's because at that moment I would pray for permanent blindness. Yeah, Danielle's boobs and Bosie's boobs would be, it's a coin flip.
So we have Fremder on. I wanted to publicly thank him yesterday. He saved our butt a little
Oh
bit
yeah, we started to
yesterday.
get into that before.
Yeah, but he wasn't on. So yeah, we were having phone problems yesterday. So Tony says, he's just like, didn't Fremder say that he was like an IT guy, not long ago? So he's like, why don't you reach out to him? So I Facebook message him. I'm like, Fremder, can you call me? I need help.
Boy, I love all your jokes.
No, I'm always honest.
Hey, listen. say what you will about his batting average, but no one throws more volume up.
Yeah,
Yes,
well, that is
absolutely right.
true.
And he,
1 out
and
of 500 million. He's like right
he's
there.
got a better percentage. I think.
I think
sometimes
so, too.
He makes me laugh.
Yes.
He's got a few good ones in it,
Yep.
and he's gone back to back several times where I go, that's pretty funny.
Yep.
But I sent him like a bunch of pictures of the studio, and he's like, "Wow, that's a lot of wires."
Yeah.
But he's like,
Yeah.
he goes, "You know what? I think I can help." So he dropped everything he was doing, and he drove to the studio and helped us out, and mostly like helped explain things. You know.
Yeah.
In fact, I wanted to tell you, Fremder, because he was saying things like how surrounding things will affect your Wi-Fi.
What, like interference and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, and so he was talking about like all the things in here, and he was like, just be quiet and like listen to all the you could hear the Wi-Fi, and that's what's really affecting so much, and it is. We have to like pull Verizon out again tomorrow. They were here all day yesterday, but I was letting my dogs out this morning, and one of the things that he was saying was even cars going by when school lets out and all the moms are there with their phones. He goes, it'll
The bandwidth just tanks?
Yeah, he said particularly Optimum will take the phone from the house as they drive by in their car. So like this morning, I'm letting the dogs in. I'm like, get off my lawn! Like, who's driving by my house?
$200 a month at home for basically 80% of channels that are shit, and,
Yeah.
a Wi-Fi signal that
I
they
made
tell
the
you
cut the
goes
same thing.
goes a half a mile at the highest thing, but if you have a piece of sheetrock between you and the
I did
and
the same
signal, it's
cut.
fine.
I had a $203 bill, and I cut it down to $46 because
Wow.
I'm sick of them. Yeah.
What'd you do? Get a AM radio?
I just use I got really good. I got more Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
and I
Channel 9
and I-
rocks.
And I just we just use Netflix, YouTube.
Right.
You know,
It's
all
going that way
those.
anyway, don't
It
you think?
is.
It's, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
where's it going to go then? When the cable and that stuff goes, Netflix is going to have you by the onions. They're just going to gradually
Yeah.
creep the
Oh,
price
it's all
up,
the
right?
same.
I mean,
It's just different. Right.
Right.
It's all the same but different. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do agree though that we're going to put this super group together.
Absolutely. And speaking of Fremder, yeah, and he can play guitar because he's a guitar. So Fremder and Plajanos in the back playing the guitars.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I want to put Andy too far in the back because you got to have that mustache. That's an album cover mustache.
Yeah.
Right, like
Right.
Jagger's lips. Right, Plajanos' mustache.
Plajanos' mustache.
Yeah.
And just the end of the mustache covering Bosey and DJ D Love's breasts. You know,
Yeah.
I feel
Well, we
like
could
that would
put
save
bows
lives.
at the end of the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what we're going to call this band, but we're taking names right now. We have till when? When do you think this supergroup happens? August?
Well, DJ.
When he gets back from his world tour?
Yes, he's doing a show in here August 20th, I think it is. August 20th, he's doing his.
That is hurricane season, so there's hope.
I will. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. That is the only Eric Shevlin, who's been gone almost a year at this point, who used to do the show with us. He's the one that promised DJ D Love the show.
Oh, he's coming in.
And
I want to say before.
Eric,
but
I will
was
pick
like,
you up
No
at
way.
your house. I will pick you up at your house, buy you breakfast,
Yeah.
and bring you in for that show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not
This
escaping
is
that.
all Eric's fault.
Right.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's laughing about it.
Oh, check out Ken Pichelle. He goes, and Andrew Fremder said, "Sure, Sally, but you only get 3 bad questions."
Carl Loggins says she goes, I need to do that. Sally O'Neill. She needs to do you, she says.
She said that?
Yeah, read it.
She did not
She
say
needs
that.
to do that too. Not to her, also.
Well, also,
now you ruined
yeah.
it. You ruined it.
I mean, but it
Rich.
was better with the typo. If it
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Hi, Carla. We love Carla.
Absolutely. So that was very nice of Andrew to come in yesterday.
He
It was the first time
he
we
was
met
here
him.
in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you so much.
He lives in the dairy barn.
And he's coming back, and it was already scheduled. He's coming in tomorrow to do the show with us, so we're looking forward to that. But yeah, thank you, Andy, for coming in. We had a few people help us out yesterday, which was.
I'm
very
just
nice.
waiting for one Thursday morning. I wake up, like, oh, I'm excited. I'm doing the show with Tony and Sally. I come in, and I'm like, there's no chairs left. DJ D Love's here, and Andrew and Bosey's off the road. He's here. The supergroup took over the studio.
Look at Sally, Annie, the Unfuckables, and Danielle. It's a year this week since Eric left. He came back for a couple of shows in March, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he did a handful in March.
Did he?
So he just started COVID and left?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was a plot me and him put together.
You killed
I did-
comedy,
right.
and he started. All right, fair
Yep.
enough.
And then he
Wow, well
yeah,
played.
hiding ever
Well
since.
played, Knockem Dad. Well played.
And your friend of Verizon is not good either. Yeah, we were calling several places yesterday to come here to take a look at things, and I can't tell you how many companies actually said, no, we're not coming because Verizon's product is crap, which I was floored by that.
Wow.
Oh, and then speaking of Fremder, too, you would have liked this. Because, Fremder was here, and he's a friendly guy. He's a nice guy. She was trying to joke around a lot, keep things light, as we're here for hours trying to figure this
we were
shit
like
out. So-
we were like trying not to cry all day.
Right, so what do we got there? Is that
yeah,
him?
yeah.
Is he there?
Yeah, we can talk about that tomorrow.
Oh, there he is.
Yay.
Hello, Mr. Bill Champlin.
What you doing? Who am I talking at?
All right, nice to see you. Can you see us?
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Tony. That's
Tony.
That's Sallie there,
Hey, Sallie.
and
Hey,
that
how are you?
that's Rich.
Rich.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. We're actually in Santa Barbara, fixing up a house up here.
Nice.
Looking out at the ocean. It's just like wow.
That's nice.
yeah, it's
we're-
a pretty place.
We're dealing with 9 inches of snow right now.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a little chilly this morning, and then I went, wait, man, I better leave that one alone.
well, actually, I'm going to thank you because you probably this is early for you rock stars. You guys usually just going to bed probably 2 or 3 hours ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, usually the rock stars that I know, I got up and I set the alarm for 8:30 just so I could get a little bit of coffee going through the old.
Nice. Nice. Well,
get
and
it.
we really appreciate you joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Great, Tony.
This is a big thrill for us. Rich didn't even know you were coming on today. I told him this morning, and first thing he says is, "I love the Living for Love album." It's the first thing right out of his mouth.
You've heard the album.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, we all
Yep.
have.
Yep.
We all have. It's fantastic.
Great stuff.
I've been a fan of your music for years. One of my favorite songs is
You're the one.
"Lovers Tonight." One of my favorite songs of all time by anybody.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And this new album, I think is I personally think it's your best. The great ballads, some great blues tunes. The nice groovy R&B stuff. Everything that you are is on this album, and it's fantastic.
Well, it's sort of my answer to the lockdown.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. I can't go play live.
Yeah.
I can't really go anywhere or do anything. And I'm looking over at our guest house. I've got a Pro Tools rig. Might be a good time to go sit in front of it. So I started really working like a dog, probably around February of last year.
And it must be tough because you're always working. You're always appearing on an album or touring. You're always doing something. So this must have been a real change of pace for you.
Well, I just kind of, it was kind of weird. I was writing actually the song "Living for Love," and I was just writing it. Just I don't write for anything, and if I get an idea, I just start writing.
Sure.
And Tamara, my wife, who's all over the album, is. She's completely over the album. She doesn't even want to hear it anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Tony was saying this morning what a great voice your wife has too.
Oh, she's awesome. She's really cool. It just works great. Yeah. But she walked in. She said, "Hey, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I got this little thing. Check out. What do you think?" And she just looked at me and says, "Okay, enough of the." We were doing the working on material for a band kind of thing with me and Tamara and a friend of ours, Gary Falcone, who played and sang all over this record too.
Right.
And we called it Wonderground. We just kind of went. She just went. It's not really catching air. What do you say you do a solo album? It's been over 10 years. Why don't you get into it? And I went, well, something, you're probably right. So I started digging through some of the material that I had, and some of it felt like it was really more of a solo thing than a band thing. And then I just started writing new stuff. I got a hold of Greg Matheson right away.
Oh, yeah?
And the funky things on the record is all Matheson,
Nice.
Especially Me.
Yep.
Losing Ground and The Truth Has Begun are Greg Matheson tracks. And there's nobody funkier than that guy. It's just I've worked with him off and on for years, and we always write really cool stuff. Actually, we co-wrote this. Probably the last song that Al Jarreau had on the charts.
Oh wow!
Just to Be Loved was our tune.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. And that too. He's just everywhere.
Hey, Bill. Me and Tony were talking about how many songs you've been on back and supporting vocals on. Is there a number of song. What?
Yeah, Rich.
To the
Rich
nearest,
just
I
as,
feel like
gazillion.
I was telling Tony that anyone who had any kind of action in the '80s probably heard your voice in the background somewhere between Chicago and Solo and all
Yeah,
that
he was
stuff.
giving you credit for anyone ever at any time getting laid.
Anyone in the '80s who scored, had some Chicago 17, 18, or 19.
Well, there's a lot of people that have been on a lot more records than I have, but somebody gave me a discography. It had to be maybe almost 20 years ago, 15 or 20 years ago. They just handed it to me, and it was all printed out.
Wow.
And it was 315 records, and they made
That's amazing.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it was kind of the way things were back in the day. I mean, ask the same question of Steve Lukather
Yeah,
and Mike Landau.
we
and
mentioned him. Yeah.
we brought up
it'd be
Steve before.
3,000, I mean,
3,000.
Well, and really, for almost the whole Toto band, like the Baccaros and all those guys, they're just all over the place.
it's funny. Rolling Stone really panned them when they first came out. They said,
Yes.
it's a put-together band of studio musicians. No, they all went to school together the same
Right.
way Twisted Sister did.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yes.
And they were all friends. They were all they grew up within 3 or 4 blocks of each other.
Right.
And it was just a band full of kids, really. And they just happened to be really, really good. I mean, David Page had just come off writing with Boz for all of the Silk Degrees record.
Right. Right.
He co-wrote most of the tunes on that.
And sorry.
They just came out, and it's a bunch of studio musicians. Well, yeah, it's why? Because what are you going to do? Sit there and watch TV or take a date?
Right. Well,
I moved to L.A. and I didn't have any work. I had just enough money to last me about a month or two, and I was writing and working, and I had a record deal, but I had to wait for a couple of months to go do it with David Foster.
Right.
Foster and David Foster and Jay Graydon were cutting tracks for everybody, playing piano and guitar, doing sessions. And they just, when I was there, they said, hey, man, they went to the producers and said, hey, when it's time to do vocals, background, you should call this guy. They gave him my phone number. And they got me kind of my first work, and the work that I did got me my second work. And it just kind of grew. It was a really great time for making records. There's a lot of records being made.
But you were very. I always found it interesting with your career because even when you were in Chicago, riding that, especially in the 80s and 90s, that really big wave that Chicago had, you were still out there hustling. You were still appearing on, making solo records and appearing on all sorts of sessions during that time as well.
Well, we did Chicago 17. I was actually over. It was right after Lionel Richie had left Commodores.
Right.
I got more signal on the Commodores album than I did on the Chicago 17.
Yeah. Funny.
Wow.
Was dancing on the ceiling your idea?
No, that was actually somebody. That was another thing. It's funny. All night long, Tamara was called to do some of the backgrounds on it, and she had the worst cold, so she had to take a pass. And
wow.
That's too bad.
Giant hit. Well, you kind of missed that one. I think it was Richard Marx called her and says, hey, you want to come sing on this? And
another guy who just plays everywhere.
Sneezed, coughed, coughed 2 more times, sneezed, and the other time said, what do you think? Well, maybe not,
Hey, Bill, on your new album, Tony and I were talking before about it. I'm just curious. Do you have a favorite track? I know that when you write these things and you put all this time in, but do you usually have a favorite on an album when you put it out?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because every day there's a different song that I'm kind of digging. I really like the title track, "Living for Love."
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of bluesy. When I sent a rough of it to the guy that ended up playing drums on it and who ended up mixing the album, Alan Hertz, who's probably one of the most talented people I know. Alan, he just called me back and said, man, this sounds like a Bonnie Raitt song or something. So I just tried to get Bonnie to send me her address so I could send her a copy. Hey, dig song number 3.
Sure.
And she's a pal. She's a good buddy.
So you mentioned. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Age before beauty.
Good one.
Or should I say age before booty?
Bill, you have both on Tony, by the way.
Most people do. So
tell me about
you mentioned before going to Los Angeles with not a lot of money. I'm curious because you guys you had Sons of Champlin, and you were part of that whole San Francisco scene. Like, Clover was a part of that. And any thoughts as to why it never really hit? Because those are some good bands back then.
Well, I mean, the Doobie Brothers did quite well.
Well, yeah.
Creedence Clearwater did quite well. There's,
But I meant you guys in particular, Sons of Champlin in particular.
In those days, every time opportunity knocked, we answered the phone. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It's
Right.
we were so big talking. We was talking about being high, and the problem was that we were getting high. I mean, at least, I can speak for myself, especially. I was just smoking too much dope, and I just missed a lot of possibilities to make things happen.
Oh, wow.
Even the first album, as good as Loosen Up Naturally is, it was supposed to be a single album. It was supposed to be produced by a guy in LA, and he came up to start work on it, and we just handed him the masters and said, "This is it. We're doing it." So we were kind of plowing, straight ahead, and there's no arrogance like youth. You know what I mean? We were just like, hey, hey, we're good. We're really good. The world should beat a path to our door. Well, the world didn't beat a path to our door. It's just the nature of. We just made every mistake you could possibly make, and had every kind of bad luck thing. We had Welcome to the Dance album was really, really kicking album. Great record, and it was kind of leaning away from being a horn band thing.
Right.
And when we put it out, the day that it was signed by Clive Davis at CBS, and they sacked him 2 days before the album was released.
No way, yeah.
Oh, well, now that's working good. And same thing with the Runaway. Years and years later, same thing with the Runaway album. Joe Smith was the president of Elektra.
Right.
He signed us. It was supposed to be a singles deal. He signed us. He said he heard the singles that David and I did, and he went, "Oh my God, make an album. Just go make an album." So he said, "Okay." And David said, "Well, I've just signed to do the Tubes, backwards completion principle, which Bill, you're going to be the ringer on. You're going to be the vocal ringer on the record." And I said, "That's fine. I know those guys are all great guys, hip group of cats." But so we took us a little while to get the record in, and by the time we got the record in, Joe Smith had just left about a week before. I was going,
Jeez.
Man, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Yeah. It's all bad luck, but it's lucky.
Well, this will be Tony and Sally's last show today.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
Way to jinx us.
Wow, man, that's cold.
You haven't lost a thing. You still got it, buddy.
His real name's an Italian name, Cole Bolachilli. That's crazy.
So was after the Love Is Gone? That was like your first? Was that a first? That was an early hit for you. So that was when kind of things started turning around a little bit.
Yeah, I was working with David Foster. We were doing that record, and we kind of had enough songs. And at one point, David said, "I just wrote this thing with Graydon." And he played it for me, and he went, "I think it's be better than this other song that we had." I said, "Cool, let's do it. Put it on a cassette, and I'll write it." He said, "No, I got to teach it to you." It took me longer to learn the piano part than it did to write the song.
Wow.
And I had to kind of write it backwards because David already had that melody. After the love has gone.
Right.
He already had that and kind of had the lyric there, so I had to sort of write it backwards from there. But I did it, and we cut a couple of demos of it, and then David was actually working as a session piano player for Earth, Wind and Fire, Maurice White.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, okay.
For one of the records that they were cutting, and he happened to be playing it on the piano while the tape was rolling back. And Maurice came waltzing over to the piano going, "What the hell is that?"
Right.
Yeah.
And David says, "Well, it's a song that we're going to put on Bill's album." So, "Well, play it. Sing it for me." He said, "How about if I play a cassette of the demo?" Maurice fell in love with the song. He says, if Bill will agree to not put it on his record, we'll put it on our next album. And they did.
Wow.
I agreed. I thought it was a good idea. Now, the other thing was that he wanted 2 or 3 more songs off of the single album with the same deal. If I would, so I would have had to recut, I'd really do some quick songwriting and throw 4 more songs in. I said, "Nah, I'm going to keep those songs for my album." That's another one of my, what I refer to as Suzanne Summers career moves that, 3 Three's Company's the biggest show ever. I'm gonna leave.
Hey, that Thigh Master was a hit.
Well, it probably was.
Yeah.
You look at it. If you look at it a certain way, she probably had a piece of the action, and she probably made way more money than she did on TV. But
Yep.
that didn't happen with me. I haven't invented a thigh master yet. You know?
Oh,
Give
that's
me
not
a
why you're
minute.
here?
Yeah.
Oh well, we were going to promote it, but okay.
You mean I'm not on Shark Tank?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I was telling Tony the song on the album that I just like the best. I don't know why, but I mean, I think it's a great album, top to bottom. But
Yeah.
the song "Hey" sticks with me. It from start to finish. Like as soon as it goes on, it's a great song.
It's just one of those ones that just happened. I mean, actually, we wrote that with me and Tamara and Gary when we were thinking along the lines of writing some stuff for another Wonderground record.
Oh, okay.
And I just asked Tamara and Gary, said, would you guys mind if I put this on the solo album? And they were both cool with it. But how about the guitar solo on that? It's a guy named
it's a great song.
Yeah, Tal Morris played that solo. We actually drove up to San Rafael, California, in Marin County, which is the next county over it's where you end up if you cross the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco.
Okay.
And he knocked off a great solo. Actually, I did he had a B3 in his studio, and I went ahead and knocked off the organ part while I was in there. So, and Tal used to play with his sons. He's a great musician, really great guitar player. But the three of us, Tamara and me and Gary Falcone, wrote the tune, and I think all three of us did some vocals on it. So
Nice.
Gary shows up in numerous places. He was on "Love Has No Heart." He was that was actually a song that Tamara and Michael Caruso had written, and I got into it musically, and so it was a three-way songwriter thing, and then. And we had Gary do a bunch of vocals and play the guitar solos. His solo is ridiculous, it's really good. There's some great moments from different musicians on the album. Mark Russo on saxophone, forget about it.
Right. Yep.
There's a point on a song called "The Truth Has Begun" when I just sort of took out the vocals on the end of it and said, "Mark, it's yours. Take it away. You know, have your way with it in the biblical sense. You know." And Mark, took. There's a point. I still at this point in the game. There's a point where he just switches into overdrive, and I just go, "Oh my God, what an amazing musician!" He played with Yellow Jackets when they first started. Years ago. Was with Loggins for a long time. He's been with the Doobie Brothers forever.
Nice.
For a long time. He's a really sweet guy and a good pal.
And then you also have this song, "Show Me." Is that with Jason, right?
Yeah, Jason and I wrote that. We were just writing it for another project. We were thinking about having it. And when I was doing the record, I just called him. I said, "Hey, man, you mind if I just kind of flesh this thing out and, maybe get you to come back in and do a few more lines?" And because we just, especially with Jason, usually if it's a demo, you just leave it a demo. Just do, kind of nothing drums and just basically almost like with a click track. And let's just get it so we remember what the song is. And then if we do it anywhere, we'll recut it and, cut it better. Or at least flesh it out, do better drums. So he said, "Yeah, go for it." So, and I had him come back in, sing a few things, and I redid the drums. And then of course I put a real drummer on it. We had, I think we had Gordon Campbell on that.
But what's it like recording with because you've done a few projects with a few different former members of Chicago. Is that weird, or is it all water under the bridge, you guys, or is it just, hey, we're just musicians? You'd be great on this track.
Well, for instance, if you look at me and Jason, even while we were with Chicago and everything, we did a bunch of Japanese projects together. We did an a cappella album with me and Jason and Joe Williams.
Right. Yep.
In Japan, that was an award-winning record.
The Something All Stars, was it?
Hollywood All Stars. West Coast
something.
All Stars.
Yeah, something like that.
I like the fact that he didn't know as much as you didn't know.
Together, you got it.
Between the two of us, we're wrong.
The old "you and me together are dumber than me" kind of thing. That one.
Bigger than both of us, dumber than both of us. Yeah. Well, somebody one time said, "What are the three best songs ever written are Amazing Grace, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, and the song I wrote this morning."
That's great.
Are you going to?
I think that was Chuck Cannon. I heard that from. Boy, are you
going to tour a little bit when the COVID restrictions ease up?
Yeah, as soon as they open up the doors on the California penitentiary, I think I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, it's like that everywhere. It's really
it's
tough.
everywhere. I mean, we're doing this record's going to be released by Sony in Japan in April, and they're also releasing another CWF record, which is a project an ongoing project that me and Joseph Williams and Peter Freestead have done.
Right.
And so they're releasing CWF 1, which was on a different label in Japan. They bought it from that label, and they're going to re-release that. So they're going to release a handful of this stuff in Japan, and they're thinking that this new strain's going to shut it down for another probably year.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Which is a drag. I mean, I don't know. It seems like that typically the government has sort of screwed up anybody getting vaccines the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, right.
I got lucky because one of the big hospitals here, Cedars, they just wrote me out of nowhere. Just wrote me a note, an email, and said, "Hey, call this number. We'll set you up for COVID shots."
That's great.
Nice.
Which is great.
You'll be doing concerts in the cafeteria there next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, if I sing with a mask on, just think of the money I'll save on Dolby. To be like Kenny on South Park.
Yeah, right.
Champlin has finally reached the apex of his vocal career. He sounds like Kenny on South Park. It's not working, but there you go. You need a little treble on that vocal part.
Well, we have to say we were talking before we went on the air. Speaking of your vocals, we're actually both kind of mad. How the hell are you not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That's just stupidity right there.
Well, the Chicago was put in, but they had I think a little while back they had a new rule saying that only the founding members. And I think what it was, somebody chased down the reason for that rule. At some point, I think HBO bought Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. So they've kind of got some ownership in it, and it's I think they spent a serious buck or two, because I think it was Jan Wenner and a handful of different people. But if everybody that has been in a band gets put into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now they didn't do that with Michael McDonald. He wasn't a founding member of the Doobies, but
right.
Wow. But they did with
Sammy
Tommy
wasn't
Thayer.
a founder of Van Halen.
Sammy Hagar was not a founder of Van Halen.
I love Sammy Hagar, but
true.
But I think they were great with Sammy.
Yeah, me too.
I was telling Tony, and listen, and this is no disrespect because Chicago, the history of the band Chicago is just amazing. But my point of contention is that without 17, 18, and 19, which basically was you. Okay, I don't.
No, I'll tell you. At by 17, David Foster and Peter Cetera hit their stride.
Yeah,
they were both really at the top of their game, and they came up with some pretty nice stuff. I mean,
but your vocals on those three albums, I think, made them such a commercial success that I don't think a lot of people, the hardcore music people would know everything from day one of Chicago, but it's like the people who watch the Super Bowl and don't watch other football games.
Sure.
Right.
But the people who would know Chicago's top hits from those 80s,
yeah.
It doesn't happen without you.
Well, and the thing is too, you had a very interesting time in Chicago. You took over those vocals, after Terry had passed, and then after Cetera leaves, you then become the frontman. After they, it seemed like you guys tried to make Jason the frontman at first to replace Cetera, but you kind of really stepped up with "Look Away" and "Hearts in Trouble" and all that. So you you filled a void twice in that band. You belong in the Hall of Fame.
A little later on, I think 17 was it was Peter Cetera's. He really nailed it. I mean, him and David really nailed it, and that was really kind of what was the thing. And I remember the manager was saying, he said, "What's selling 17 is a lot of it's word of mouth, because Reprise isn't really promoting it a lot. They're kind of letting it happen. They sort of threw it at the wall. Rarely does a record thrown at the wall happen unless it gets word of mouth." He said, "You're kind of responsible for a lot of the word of mouth. People going, 'Hey man, this guy's in this band.'"
Right. Right.
And to be a part for
who thought that
27
was gonna
years and not be in the Hall of Fame is just...
Yeah, it's a kooky rule.
and to be
It's
such
weird
a
rule.
fundamental part of it for all those years.
Yeah, what it is that if
We're mad.
if I was brought in, if I was brought in on the situation, then they would have to give up a seat in the audience. These are $20,000 seats to my wife. So I mean, if and Chicago's had a handful of people in the band. Chris Pinnock, Lagier. There's a handful of Donnie Dacus.
Donnie Dacus, right?
Really cool people that have been in the band.
Yeah.
And if they'd have done that, there'd have been a lot of people. But I mean, like Tommy Thayer has been with Kiss way longer than
Yeah,
than
true.
Ace.
You said that before,
But
right?
Ace was the guy that was in there, yeah. And it's just that kind of new rule, sort of. It's a new rule unless it's Michael McDonald.
Yeah, right. Oh, and Sammy Hagar. Yeah.
That's it, right.
And Sammy, and all of that really makes a lot of sense. And and because John McPhee wasn't with the Doobies when they started. McPhee was actually with.
He was in Clover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was Huey at one time.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Wow. But we're still mad about it. You should. You definitely belong there, pal.
Settle down. Come on.
I mean, we're going to get over it at 1 o'clock, but we're angry right now.
Tony,
Yeah.
come off of the ledge, Tony.
We're just angry East Coasters.
Take it anymore.
Bill's out in Santa Barbara. He's like, no one gets upset like this. He's like,
that's
you
right,
East
yeah.
Coasters are mad about everything.
He's wearing shorts and a T-shirt. We're
I know.
freezing over here.
He's like,
He's
I
not
have
sure.
coffee. I'm looking out on the ocean. Chill out.
Yeah. So you guys should feel great. It's like I have this young great, young athlete that runs 5 miles for me every day. I pay him. I've never felt so good. Other than that, I'm back at the house doing my alternate eye openings. It's calisthenics in my world.
I had Suzanne Summers doing that Thigh Master for me. I just, have heard that.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I could do one of those.
Classic.
Tell me about it.
All right, now I have a special request for you.
Yes, sir.
I saw on YouTube you did some gigs with Max Weinberg a few years back, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's fun.
There's a Springsteen tune. It's an album cut. A lot of it's not a big song of his, but you guys did it in concert. It's called The Fever.
Oh, I love that song.
Oh my! If the next time you're recording something, I don't care who it's with. You got to record that song, man. That song is you, man, and it's such a great
that's a
song.
hot song.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
I'd like Bruce Springsteen a lot better if he could write songs. Man, he's got what a monster. Have you seen that thing? Have you seen that? It's a thing. It's a concert that he threw, and it's called Western Stars.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh my God! I was just sort of cruising, surfing with my remote.
Yeah.
It's my weapon. I have a holster for it. But I just happened on it. I went, well, I'm gonna check this out because I've never been really that big a Springsteen fan.
Yeah.
And I just I just put it on and listened to it. I went, holy shit, this guy's a badass, man.
Yeah. There's a song from that album called There Goes My Miracle, Here Comes My Miracle.
That's a beautiful song.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at the words, if you just read the words without the rest of the music, the words are a little weak. But
the words aren't weak at all.
But that's the thing. If you put it into that song and the way Bruce arranges it, it's such a beautiful piece of music.
It's beautiful,
man.
everything about it.
And man, I had a ball hanging with Max. I mean,
oh yeah.
He's as funny as he was when he was working on the Conan O'Brien show.
Sure. Yeah.
He said, he said, I got the gig basically because they said, will you do anything? And I said, yes. I've got a pair of orange Speedos running through the lunch area of the Black Building at lunchtime. And going, well, I told him I'd do anything. This is pretty nuts. It's pretty crazy.
That's how I got this Thursday gig.
Yeah, we made him put on the orange Speedo.
Yeah, I still to this day. I mean, when I'm doing gigs with other bands and stuff, I say, "Oh, guys, by the way, did you get the memo? This gig, it's Speedo's night." Band's going. fuck is he talking about?
That's quite the visual I have all of a sudden.
Here we are. We're at Speedo's night. Anyway,
All right, so
it goes on. Needless to say, a friend of mine years ago said, if you walk in a recording studio and everybody's going, we gotta have a hit. We gotta have a hit.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a hit. If you walk
Yeah.
in a recording studio and everybody's either laughing or listening to it back going, damn, that sounds good.
Right.
And having fun. And I just kind of always sort of realized that's one of the reasons why I love working with Jason, because laugh? Nah, no laughing there. You know, we always have a ball working together. Toward the end of Chicago, we weren't getting along very well, but then again, that's one of the criteria of that band. Nobody gets along with anybody.
wow.
So I was just fitting in with the groove. You know, everybody's on everybody.
How many guys would actually go in the studio at the same time when you did record a Chicago album? Because Tony and I you guys probably needed stadium seating in there. how many members were there?
That's great. You know, well, I don't know how many. There's 4 original guys, and they're the ones that count. And then there's the rest of us who go in and really work on the record. And a lot of times it'd be just Jason and me stacking vocals and putting.
Wow.
And I think it's one point there's when Jason got in the band, at one point that was when our background vocal arrangements started to really get hip.
Agreed.
I mean, Foster's awesome as far as getting in and rearranging vocals and putting vocals together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just kind of grew up in that school. And at one point, once I heard Take 6, I just kind of went, whoops, there goes the triad. I'm pretty much done with that. I'm going to start voicing things out a little bit. So
Sure.
I think if whatever band you're in, I think if you learn something new, you try to apply it to your band. I don't think that was necessarily it wasn't accepted that much in a lot of ways. You know, hey man, we were doing great vocals back in the day. Yeah, but they're not the stuff that's going on now. It's not what people want to hear at this point.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, neither here nor there. That's just in a background arrangement thing. I never, planned on becoming a background arranger. But when I moved to LA, I was waiting to start my record or waiting to do this, that, or the other thing. And next thing I knew, I was working a lot, and things just caught on me. When I just decided, I was doing dates with Michael McDonald and Bobby Kimball. That's when I went. I'm going double scale.
Unbelievable.
Forget about it.
Hanging out with these guys, let's hear. Oh, who's singing up there? Oh, these guys are. They're just going to do a little bit of, Michael McDonald and Bill Champlin. Oh, yeah, great. Okay, good. Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, one of the singers I work with a lot is Tom Kelly, and he turned out to be, have one of the best songwriting teams. Him and Billy Steinberg wrote all that.
Yep.
They wrote True Colors. Do you think they made anything from Kodak? Oh my goodness, that was back when Kodak was kicking like a mule.
Yeah, right.
But that's the thing about LA. That there's at the time. There was still Tower Records on every street corner,
right,
or a warehouse, or Licorice Pizza, or whatever. You know what I mean? There was a lot of commerce in the record business, in the music business, and that seems to have gone away at some level. And they blame it on downloads. Sometimes I think they should blame it on some of the music.
That's a good point.
Well, this is a perfect record by somebody who can't sing him way out of a paper sack. Although there's some young kids out there that are tearing it up. That are really good bands. I'm not one of those guys who goes, "Oh man, back in the good old days." I don't want to do that. And
Really?
Tamara really keeps an eye on. Hey, here's a new record that's check this out. Check this kid out. And I just kind of listen. At first, I would go, nah, I don't know. And then I listen to it and go, wow, there's some good stuff happening. Some great singers out there.
Yeah. Sorry. Are you going to talk about Jackson? Are you going to say?
Thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah, because I was just with Bill talking about that. I was thinking about Jackson.
Jackson Gillies? Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah, he's from right here.
Yes, he's a good friend of ours. He's been in here a few times. We get him on the phone quite often. Great kid, really talented. He asked us to say hello to you.
Really good singer. I like his.
So
his
beautiful,
voice.
yeah.
And he's really close. Him and Kenny were real close. It was weird. We were doing this. Santa Barbara had this crazy mudslide. It was almost like a volcano in lava, right?
Oh wow!
And it took out a bunch of houses. Some people got killed, and it just I think what it was that there had been a really bad fire, and then there was really some major rain.
Then rain,
and and everything that was supposed to hold the earth in one place was burned down. So boom! All of a sudden, all this mud. Major scene. It was a real major disaster for mostly actually Montecito, which is part of Santa Barbara.
Right.
And they put together a benefit of all the young kids in Santa Barbara that were singers. Now, one of the guys that was really working on the benefit was Kenny Loggins, right? And he had a handful of singers. He was trying to help them. Well, you should sing this way and that way, and really being a mentor on this benefit, really to help out Santa Barbara, because Kenny's always been kind of very well connected to Santa Barbara. And at one point, I was kind of sitting around. He was working with some kids, and there were some other kids. They were kind of going, "Who is this guy?" I went, "Hold it." Come here.
Yeah, let me tell you.
your vocal coach right now happens to be maybe one of the top 5 singers on the earth. What do you think of that?
Jeez.
Show a little respect.
Yeah, be like, this is like Lady Gaga coming and saying hi to you.
Yeah, right. I mean, give me a break. Kenny Loggins can sing time, news, and weather and make it work. He's one of the best ever.
Wow. All right, so we've been keeping you for a while, so we're thrilled that you were here.
Cool,
thank you, but I do have one last thing I just wanted to ask you about, because I'm a huge Clapton guy, and I'm just curious how you ended up, because I know you've done some session work with him.
I did one tune with him.
That Help Me Up.
Background vocals on I forget, was that what the song was?
Yeah, Help Me Up. Yep.
It was on the Rush. It was on the Rush movie,
which is the same thing that Tears in Heaven was on.
And
right?
I think it was the first time Tears in Heaven was recorded.
Yep.
And then when he did an MTV Unplugged, they recorded that same song Unplugged, and that's what ended up being on the.
Yeah, that's when it blew up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, boy, wow, that was. I mean, I lost my son my older son about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's another lie, right? That's what that's about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song, and sorry, but it's a beautiful song.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I kind of, with this record, I kind of went. Somebody said somewhere, and I either heard it or saw it, but it just stuck in my head. I said, if it isn't personal, it isn't art.
Right.
And I went, maybe it's time to really put what you think on some of these things. So Living for Love is one of those. Reason to Believe, now that's a really cool thing that happened. I happened to mention to Bruce just in an email and says, hey man, think about doing an album. Got anything? And Bruce is really known for sending us what he calls kernels, which is a track,
right.
A track. Write the melody, write the lyrics, get rid of the hay fever. Oh, sorry. I did talk to my oncologist and I said, hey, man, you guys are doing great with cancer. Any chance of tackling that pesky hay fever? Right. He said, no, but if you come up with anything, let me know, because I'm driven all.
That's right. We're just thrilled to have you. You can pick your nose, do whatever you need to do on the camera. No problem.
Talking. But
our
where
standards
was I before?
We had DJ Love on.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those, some of these. Well, anyway, we got this track, and Tamara immediately said, "Give me that." I said, "No, we're both going to write this one. Where's the legal pad? Where's the pencils? Where's the legal pad?" And we were on that thing like white on rice, digging into that in no time at all. And I just called Bruce, or actually emailed him. And Bruce has had his own medical issues. He's not making a lot of tracks lately because his playing is a little bit underneath. He's had some things wrong. Yeah. But I had just gone through. I mean, I had a Monday in September where I was diagnosed with really very aggressive prostate cancer.
Yeah.
And the next day, my older son passed away from esophageal cancer. It was like, we really like the C word at our house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at any rate, Bruce sent this track, and I realized when we wrote this, and that's not going to work. Let's do this. That it took us about an hour and a half, 2 hours to do it, to get it written. And when I was actually typing the final draft, I realized it was about gratitude in a lot of ways. It was like kind of a thank you thing. So, and after what I'd gone through, I mean, Tamara kept me alive for a year.
Sure.
because I was so snake bit pretty much from losing Brad. And then when I had surgery, they said, "Hey, you still got cancer." My doctors were panicking.
Wow.
And I went, "Well, tell me what to do. I'll do it." And I was kind of so devastated by that one thing. And then, you look at Eric, and he lost a beautiful little boy.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, that had to. He's still probably limping from that. I mean, he will be for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sure.
And I somebody told me one time. Remember the comedian Shelley Berman?
Yeah. Of course.
Really cool guy. Well, he lost his son, and at one point, Shelley said, "Don't ever let anybody tell you not to talk about your son."
Right.
Right.
He's with you all the time. It's just the way things go. And and a lot of times people go, "Well, that was the album about that." So no, the one song's about that.
Sure.
So I mean, there's a handful of things, and I just kind of went through a lot of stuff where I just realized there's just so much lying going on. Like for instance, on the song "Losing Ground," there's a handful of lying going on in that piece of music.
Right.
But of course, I wrote that right in the middle of election times. Like, oh, let me see everybody's lying now.
I don't know what makes you say that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we can't have baseball, so what are we going to replace it with?
Right.
Lying. That's sort of the way
Lying.
it goes.
Thank God baseball's back.
Yeah, it's now a national pastime. Who can spin the biggest yarn?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
All right.
But the album burns. It's just got some really, really great grooves on it. And
Absolutely.
the minute I knew I was going to do it. But anyway, when Bruce sent that track, at one point I said, "Who's playing bass on that?" And he said, "George Hawkins." And George passed away a couple of years ago.
Right. He passed.
And I went,
yeah.
"Oh," I said, "Man, this is so great. I got a George Hawkins track
Nice.
on my record," because I've had almost every solo album that I've done, and I've been working off and on with George for years.
Yeah.
The last solo record I did, George was the bass player top to bottom.
Yep.
And he and I and Bruce Guy actually co-wrote a good handful of tunes on that record. So, I mean, we lost him. I was going, "Oh man," I said, "Man, I'd sure like to put bass on this, a real bass on it." And the only guy that I really like whose groove is there. The two guys are my favorite bass players: Abraham Laboriel and George Hawkins. So,
Oh, nice.
and we got Abraham on one song. I mean, it's crazy. If I go back to my solo album, "Burn Down the Night," the two bass players on that record were George and Abe.
Right.
And so it was really, really kind of cool to have George on the record. Then I said, "Who's playing drums?" They said, "Vinny Colaiuta." I went, "Oh my God!" Oh, nothing, And then I had Alan Hurst playing drums on about half the record, and a guy named Gordon Campbell, who I'd never met before. He's a lefty who plays with a right-handed drum set. It's a weird thing to look at.
Well, yeah, that's Ringo too, right? Ringo's the same way.
Oh, he is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he plays righty, but he's actually a lefty in real life. Yeah, in real life,
Oh.
but you know what I
Real
mean.
life.
In make believe.
When he's not a cartoon, he's when he's not on Yellow Submarine.
know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
It's weird, man. I asked one time, I was not a real close friend, but a guy I've worked with off and on over the years, Jim Keltner. He's a great drummer.
Oh yeah, man.
He played on Traveling Wilburys, and I
Yep.
just said to Jimmy, "Man, where did you get that kind of back groove, back here, he just sits on it back here he takes it as far back as you can get without dragging,
Right. Yep.
and it's just sort of his personalized license plate of how he plays." He says, "Two drummers turned me on to that. One is the AC/DC's drummer, and the other's Ringo Starr." He said, "People don't get how good he is."
Right. It's true.
Tony says that all the time. He's like, people have no idea how good Ringo Starr is.
Because he doesn't get fancy, and Keltner's the same way. They don't get fancy. They don't do drum solos. They just
play for the song.
Right.
And I said, "Wow, really?" He said, "Yeah." Ringo one time said, Pete Best had way more chops, but he was on the front end of it all the time.
Yep.
A little bit of a show-off drummer,
Right.
Good. He was really great. But he said, "I really kind of played on the back of it because it made the songs more important."
Yep.
Talk about a Suzanne Summers move.
Right. Pete Best.
Oh, nothing, and it just and he was really right. I mean, I got the Beatle channel on satellite radio, and
Yeah.
we listened to it a lot. And first of all,
We do too.
that bass player's ridiculous, Paul McCartney. I mean, from the beginning, when the records I mean, the bass playing was always just great. It seems to me if the Beatles weren't there, Paul would have probably been a first call bass player.
Agreed.
On for everybody. And what a great bass player he is.
Oh, yeah.
Aside from he also sings and writes songs.
But he didn't start off as a bass player, right? Like he kind of like pushed him into it.
Yeah, they had a bass player, but the bass player they had wasn't very good.
Yeah,
They
it's not like
used
he
him
was
because
like
he
a
had money to buy instruments.
kid learning
And then when he was gone, they just kind of pushed Paul into it because nobody else wanted to do it. And
Yeah.
look what he ended up doing.
Turned out okay.
Same thing happened with Rocco Presti in Tower of Power. He was a guitar player, but they needed a bass player, so they put him on bass, and he's one of the most innovative bass players in the history of rock and roll.
Sure.
Or in the history of R&B, at any rate.
Right.
Jaco Pastorius said, "Man, Rocco's one of my favorite bass players.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
Got me going,
Yep. Wow. So, all right. So
crazy, funny guy, man. He's a cool dude. I love Rocco, man. And, there's the one thing that I really kind of found with this record is, man, find the guys that you really have a great hang with and get them on the record.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it must be nice because you mentioned before, people always trying to get a hit. And if you're up and coming or new, you're trying to make a living too. But I'm assuming you're at a point where you don't have to worry about that anymore. So you can just enjoy
no.
who you're working with, right?
Wrong. Oh,
come on, really?
You could pick who you want to play with. Come on.
No, I don't. I didn't make a lot. A lot of the songs that I sang, I didn't write. I mean, Look Away and all those kind of things. Those were Diane Warren songs.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, Diane Warren, man.
Oh, yeah,
like
another
what?
amazing
Like every
songwriter.
4.5 hours, she'd write a hit.
Yeah.
You don't even realize until you
She
look at her
writes-
list.
Diane writes really passionate stuff.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, that's really what's going on. I think one of my favorite writers from back in the day was Linda Creed.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote most of the stuff for the Spinners and most of the Philly International stuff.
Right.
And Linda actually wrote Greatest Love of All, which when she found out she had terminal cancer.
Oh wow.
And it's deep.
Yeah.
If you know that story and you listen to that song, oh my goodness,
Right.
I think George Benson did it originally, and then Whitney did a version of it, and it's just wow. So I mean, I kind of went at some point in the game. I kind of went, man, it's time to not hide behind your craft, and it's time to get into your art. I kind of made sure that I didn't sing lead vocals the same day I was doing backgrounds. Because I'm kind of a background scientist. I'm more of an arranger. I know how to, when I sing a background vocal, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. I make sure that I stop at the right places,
Right.
So that when I double it and triple it and do harmonies with it, they all stop at the same time.
Sure.
Otherwise, you'll end up with everybody going. Well, like say the song ends up with an S, and you'll have 8 S's.
Right. Yep.
Sounds like steam escaping in here.
It's the locomotive song.
Well, you did a great job on that album, though. I think
thank
you could be very proud of your latest album for sure.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding you. They came in here today, and Tony, I just know that he just buys, he loves like the new albums out, and so he had yours already before he even asked you. And then Rich walks in the door, and he's like, oh, what are we doing today? So we're telling him, he's like, oh yeah, I bought that album a little while ago. It's great. So they're not even kidding you.
Yeah. And it's
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's on
really
iTunes. It's you can get it on your website, right? BillChamplin.com.
Yeah, exactly. You can if you want the CD. Now the CD, we got the cover. We were Tamara and I were walking by a gallery, Vladimir Kush Gallery, and we had a picture that we bought one of his paintings.
One of his little
15,
doodles.
maybe 15, 20 years ago. And just been one of our favorite artists ever since. And we saw this thing with a keyboard in it, and Tamara went, "Oh my God, Bill, there's your album cover."
Nice.
So the gallery was closed, but the guy was still there, the manager of the gallery. He opened the door for us, and we walked in and looked at it. We ended up calling him, talking to him, and Tamara worked it out to license it so that we could use it for the cover. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
If we ever do a vinyl, that cover is just going to.
Yeah, that would pop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that I miss a lot. From going to CDs to smaller packages, the artwork was
agreed.
Really,
Really mattered.
important on a lot of records.
Artwork and liner notes. I'm one of those liner notes geeks.
The liner notes are the best part.
I love reading liner
They're the
notes.
best.
I still Yeah, that's the thing. Like Sallie said, I still
Yeah.
get CDs. I have 6,000 CDs in my collections. I love reading the
And he
liner notes.
does. He'll like have a CD forever, and I'll just see him opening up a liner note and start
Well,
like, reading
that's
it.
how I'm familiar with Bill Chamberlain's work because almost every album I bought,
Yeah,
he's in there somewhere.
Exactly.
He sang on this. Oh shit, he sang on that.
It's funny. There was a group called Attitudes. It was on Dark Horse Records, and it was David Foster, Jim Keltner, Danny Korchmore.
Oh wow.
I think Paul Stallworth was the bass player, and it was just a band, a little 4-piece band, and but they were on George Harrison's record label, and there was a picture of them, and it showed under each name there was, of the guys in the band, and then it was a picture of George in the middle. And they didn't write George Harrison. They wrote, and I thought it was some kind of maybe. At first, I was looking. I said, "What the hell is that?" And it's some kind of Indian name. And if you really look at it closely and spell it out, it says, "Oh, not him again,"
Right,
Wow,
yes.
that's funny.
which is really cool. That's
really cute.
That's the guy I thought he was. You know?
Exactly.
And it's right, and it's little things like that in the liner notes that you look for, and you just I miss that stuff,
Right,
man. I
right,
miss
right.
it. So,
Well,
Hang
kill
on,
the
hang on,
A-track.
once- I gotta not do this right now.
oh, it's an alarm. Time to take a pill.
There you go.
No, I'm an hour. I get up and take my pills right away. Somebody said, "Hey, what'd you have for breakfast?" Pills.
Pills.
And that was
When
the
you
same
eat-
way in the '60s. They're just different pills now.
yeah, right. Let me see. The purple pill it used to be purple Owsley or purple haze, and then it went to Nexium, the other purple pill, and then of course the Viagra's and stuff like that. It's like we all have purple pills, but they just change every 20 years.
Right. That's great.
It's classic.
All right. Well, again, Bill, I can't thank you enough for sticking with us.
Well,
I didn't
thanks, Tony.
expect to be with you this long, and we're thrilled. And
Yeah,
this
so
was
thank you.
a big
Yeah,
thrill for us.
awesome.
It's a great hang. You guys are fun.
Ah, cool. And
Rich, I think you might be arrested soon. Something tells me.
yeah, I can see it.
It's a coin flip.
I had a bass player in the Suns named David Shalleck, and I always looked at him as like, this guy's an ambush humorist. You know, I think Rich might be that guy.
Yep, he's definitely that guy.
I'm just waiting. Steve Percaro is one of those guys. You just wait 1 second. All right, he's going to drop one right where nobody's ready for it.
That's great.
I just show up when I'm
cool.
told, Bill. I just show up.
I'm telling you.
Well, hey, man,
I used to. People say, "Hey, where are you going on your tour?" I said, "I don't know. I've got a collar and I hand the leash to the road manager. He just
That's it.
yanks it every once in a while."
That's it. Yep, it's
That's right.
it's easier that way. Just go where they tell you. That's it.
Yeah, rock and roll Cleveland, and you're in Tokyo, dummy.
It's got to be hard, though.
Nice.
Well, hopefully you'll be on the road again soon.
Yeah,
and
you-
when you're in our neck of the woods, we're getting you in here, man. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'd love to hang with you guys.
Yeah,
that'd be
a lot
great,
of
man.
fun.
Thank you guys so much for
Thanks,
for
Bill.
letting us talk about this album. I really want to.
Oh, our pleasure.
Yeah.
I'd love for people to hear it. It's not really a matter of money anymore. I just like people to hear the music that I.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, there's a
All
lot
right,
of
we'll
heart
do that.
in it.
We'll keep showcasing it. And again, we thank you so much. This was a big thrill for
Yeah,
us.
a lot
Thank
of
you
fun.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Sallie. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, pal.
Take care.
Hope to
Okay,
see you
be
again.
good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right.
Imagine being that cool and being
Well,
like,
what's-
well,
we're
that legendary.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Being that cool and that legendary in your craft.
That
Oh my
went
God.
a lot better than I thought it would. That we're still in the air, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Oh, just letting you know. Okay, I didn't.
I
know
can
if
hear you though.
Yeah, I know. I just, I didn't know what to expect out of the guy. I didn't know he had such a big sense of
I've
humor.
seen
so.
him interviewed before, and I'm like, he's just a good guy.
He's a good storyteller. Yeah.
And you know what? I also think that you can have all the talent in the world, but people aren't going to work with you unless you're really,
Yes.
like, who wouldn't want to work with him?
Right.
I mean,
that
the
talent and being that down to
again,
earth. Yeah.
I will tell anybody, you listen to that album and you tell me that sounds like a guy who's 73 years old singing.
Yeah. Right.
So he's got such a great voice. He really does.
Enjoy it now while you can, since you're going to be arrested. So.
Yeah, evidently, imminently.
Well, I didn't get that. Why was he saying that about you? I
I
didn't
think he
hear
was just
that.
saying that Rich is kind of creepy. I think
Really?
that's how I took it.
Yeah. I feel like he
Well, you
had
don't feel
you
that?
and me mixed up. Like I felt like he was
Oh,
looking
sure
at
he
you when
did.
he said it.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, he's like that guy doesn't go around schools. I can tell, Or maybe he saw the no rhyme, no reason thing and thinks I'm bossy.
It's just like Rich looks like just like a normal face. Like Tony, like you have to see his driver's license. It's the funniest thing. Like he was told not to smile, and he's seriously like, I can't even prepare you for it. He looks like it's like a mug shot.
Yeah.
He looks like he's in jail.
Oh,
You can't even prepare. Isn't that crazy?
what the hell?
I know. Like I was like,
You look like you're trying to get picked for a gang in prison.
you start dating someone.
Oh
and
my! It doesn't even
You
resemble you.
can't even prepare for it.
I think I still have hair in that
How
picture?
old is this picture?
Let me see. I don't.
That is the creepiest thing I've ever
Right. So here I am. I'm like this, Rich. I'm like looking through his wallet. We're driving along in the car, and all of a sudden I was like, ah!
seen. Wow,
That's what you get for going to my
You
wallet.
You look like you were about to go to your Aryan Nation meeting, that's horrifying.
This is almost 20 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't have hair then either?
Actually,
What year did
Just
your
a
hair?
little there.
What year? How old were you when your hair just gave up and quit? Like where it said, "I'm out."
Well-
he never had good hair. He always
How
had
long
like
have you known each
little
other?
frizzy.
Well-
I knew him when he was like 14.
Yeah.
Did he have hair?
Yeah.
Yes, and
Lot
two
of
legs,
hair.
and
Like,
two legs back then.
ooh.
You had 2 legs and all your hair, and then
Yep.
at 18, all your hair,
Yes.
2 legs,
Yes. I lost the leg at 35.
and was there hair there?
The
at
hair
time?
was starting to go around 30, but then when I got sick and had chemo, like Bill
Okay.
was talking about, I'm a
Right.
cancer survivor. The chemo just wiped it out. Okay. So by age 35, yeah, no leg and no hair.
So that was
I'll show the
before
picture.
you lost both of that. It's crazy.
Wow.
He looks like he's
I mean,
gonna.
I've seen that picture on an episode of Cops.
he
numerous times.
He looks
What's he
like he's
gonna
gonna
do?
rough
Numerous
you
times.
up out of a
that's-
7-Eleven.
Yeah, you're right. You look like a guy who's like,
Who's hanging outside
Right.
a 7-Eleven is gonna rough you up.
How the hell did we go from Bill Champlin to my driver's license?
Well, because they were saying, Rich could have been in jail, and I'm thinking, well, maybe.
no.
he was
Hold
looking
on.
at-
He said arrested. He didn't say convicted.
Oh.
He just said arrested.
He's got a point.
Who hasn't been there?
Most of us.
All right. It's just about 1 o'clock. We're going to get out of here. What's today? Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday, baby.
7 o'clock. No rhyme, no reason with this guy and
we
Jeff.
think barring the.
well,
we
if
could
it-
be, we could be walking outside to 11 feet of snow right now.
That's true. If you can't get in, are you zooming it or no?
We'll get in.
Oh, nice. Good answer. I like it. See, that was our
The
Yeah,
question
baby.
is,
We're getting here.
will one of you get in to let us in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he's driving with evidently 1,000 pounds of snow melt in the back of a truck, so he will get in. He told me he has nothing but snow melt. So.
And then is there? Then Graz and the boys at 9:45. Sorry about that. I had a little brain fart. Graz and the boys with limo talk.
Speaking of arrested, Graz at 9:45.
9:45, and then Sallie and I are back here tomorrow with Andy Plajanos on the Zoom,
Andy squared.
and Andrew Fremder will be in the studio with us.
Dun, dun,
Andu.
dun.
What?
Andu.
Andu.
Okay, not Andrew, just Andu.
I didn't hear you say that. He said Andu.
Oh, I said Andu?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Like Mountain Dew, you said Andu.
Oh, did I? Sorry about that. Andrew. Andrew. Fremder will be with us tomorrow, so who knows what's going to happen with that. I'm not sure if I'm not sure that we're both making it out of here
I'm
alive.
expecting big things tomorrow. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good show.
He's bringing his guitar.
I mean, and let's be honest. If you took the Bill Champlin interview out of this show, they don't have a lot to top. Let's just recap what went on today, folks. Jeff Bosey sang. DJ D Love sang.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bill Champlin didn't.
And Bill, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't belong and why? Right. We had a legendary rock god on the air, and Jeff and DJ D Love sang.
Right.
Good thing he didn't hear that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have stayed.
Right. Good Lord. I mean, yeah. Could you imagine?
Well, we don't have to imagine. We
I
lived it.
can't blame him though. I can't blame him though. I mean, because he's probably. I mean, he's performed with the greats, Bill.
Yeah.
But he's never had to follow Jeff and DJ D Love.
Yeah, it's a little
so-
intimidating.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever. But yeah, so let's recap that happened today. And yeah.
All right. Well, then there you have it.
Yeah. And I'm getting arrested. Who put this show together? Bullshit.
I don't know. So I feel like I should be apologizing now. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure. All right. Everybody have a great day.
Clean yourself. I feel, you
Spray
feel
my,
dirty?
Clean
spray
yourself
my
up.
face and my
I
mouth.
feel dirty.
Everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at 11.
See you next week, folks.